Duke at Florida State, man, dude, did they play their butts off, dude? Duke played their butts off, man. Especially in that first half. Offensively, they somehow made it happen, scoring points. Defensively, though, they made it happen. But gosh, I'm Florida State finding a way to move the ball. Jordan Travis, credit them, credit their run game, getting it done down the stretch against a Duke defense that was pretty tired by the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do think I just hats off to Duke, man. They should have covered. They should have covered. They had a chance to win the game. I mean, in the end, Florida State's talent offensively was just a little bit too much. But this Mike Elko team, you heard the announcers. They did a great job of talking about it. I think Kirk Herbstreit, Fowler had the call. They were just like this Mike Elko team. This Duke team is different than years past. They're well coached. They fly around, right? I think he's got them homing in the right direction. That for anybody, they're going to be a really really tough out in the ACC. To be honest, I didn't love the decision to play Riley Leonard. I understand I'm not in the room. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't understand. You know, obviously their expert professional opinion is worth a lot more than mine. But I saw him out there and I just felt bad for the kid. I'm like, he's a sitting duck kind of back there, and his best weapon is his legs. And while it did matter in the beginning, I thought that Florida State was really respecting him. But you saw in that second half, like it caught up to them. And when you can't push the ball down the field without having the ability to create time, buy space for his receivers to get open, like it's hard. It's hard to ask a Duke offense to move the ball against, what is a talented Florida State roster on the road, right?
yeah. Did you know who didn't dominate this game that I thought was going to? Keon Coleman did not dominate this game.
But like looking back though, like yes, that is surprising. Yes, I think Keon Coleman is maybe what wide receiver two, wide receiver three in college football right now. But like it's Mike Elko, man. Like yes, the receiver, the cornerbacks are small, but like looking back, it's like were we really that surprised that like he had a fantastic game plan against this Florida State offense, specifically taking away their star players.
Yeah, I was still impressed with Duke after this game. I mean, I don't think of them any differently, right? I mean, of course, getting a touchdown late. We both picked Duke plus 14. So giving up that late touchdown was pretty brutal in terms of our picks, but didn't lose any money, didn't lose any sleep over it, right? So, uh, but yeah, I mean, once again, credit Florida State as well, putting up another 38 burger, getting it done. They continue to find ways to win games. They're 7-0. Still some slate left in the ACC, but it's looking more and more like they could do it.
Yeah, I think as for Duke, you got a couple of games down the stretch. I mean, Riley Leonard kind of exited the game right in that late fourth quarter. Don't know exactly what happened to him. Hoping he's gonna be all right the rest of the way. But man, I don't know. I was Duke ran the ball well, right? Like Chuck was Moore had the long run. Jordan Waters didn't quite get going, but in the first half he had some tough running. Um, Jordan Moore is a really good player, by the way. I'm so sorry. I mean Jalen Calhoun. Um, for Duke, he didn't do much, but it just some of the routes and the movement on his running is really impressive, right? The way he
Yeah.
changes directions, gets in and out of breaks for Duke there, and then obviously Riley Leonard legs definitely I think impacted him. Even be able to like to finish on throws, like it's hard. It's really hard to play quarterback when you're not, I don't know, 80% or 85% what he was last night.
Yeah,
We're,
I'll
we're,
second what you. Sorry, what'd you say?
are you we now obviously like the score you look at it's like 18 points. Yeah, where they covered and they won at home. Like, what more else can you ask for? But like the reality of that game was like they had a special teams touchdown in the first half where they could have been down 10 points. And
Yep.
then they were down in the fourth quarter, right at home to Duke with a banged up quarterback that had 69 yards passing in the whole game. Does this make you worried about Florida State?
They're they might be a playoff team, but this is not a national championship team. It's not. Uh, and look, they can accomplish their goals of winning the ACC totally and making the playoffs. I just think looking at Georgia and looking at Michigan right now, I know Michigan hasn't played anyone except UNLV, but I maybe there's just no elite teams in college football either. Maybe that's the case as well.
I was about to say that. I'm like, yes, I guess like in terms of generally, like this is not a national championship caliber team, but like the reality of this year is there's a ton of really good football teams, but do we really believe anyone's like elite or flawless?
I
Right?
haven't. Yeah, I mean the most confident I feel is Michigan. That was one of my
But you have no idea.
preseason. That was one of my preseason
You have no
national
idea.
championship picks, plus 900. But yeah, you still don't really know. They haven't gotten into the nitty gritty, right? So even though
Yep.
they just pounded Michigan State, we'll talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit later. But yeah, but yeah,
And
you might be right about that. That they still might have a shot at the national championship just because of we don't know what the rest of the field looks like. To be honest,
well, and you have Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, like your Jordan Travis is healthy. You're gonna have a chance to win every football game.
Shaheem Bell had a good game.
Yeah, he's continuing to get more and more involved in the offense, which is nice to see. The also thing is like we talked about it in our preview of this game, or at least what I was talking about. I'm like, regardless of how this game works and how poor Florida State plays offensively, defensively, whatever it is, like in my opinion, I was just gonna chalk it up to like Mike Elko is a really good coach. Like Mike Elko is gonna make you win with your changeup,
Yeah,
and like the reality is like it's almost more impressive that Florida State was able to do that and still win by team pull away at the end. Like Mike Norvell continues to talk about like grit from this team. And like, wow, it's crazy to say like you're 14-point favorites at home and you won by 18, but you showed a lot of grit. Like I thought they did in that second half, specifically in the fourth quarter, responding to that pick six that Duke had with the kickoff return for a touchdown. Now, talent wise, top to bottom of this roster in terms of depth, is a national championship contender there? I don't know, but if they're healthy, if they're playing well, who knows what can happen in 60 minutes of a football game. I do trust this team, and with the Clemson looking like they are in Miami, still not being super impressive, and North Carolina lost. Like nobody
I
else in the
think I
ACC.
think I still think for some reason I have this weird feeling that Miami is the second best team in the ACC. I don't know why. I can't get it out of my head. They haven't.
I
I don't
I
know.
think in my opinion, I thought this was Duke's. I'm so sorry, Florida State's toughest conference game, right? Left or even maybe even all year. If maybe going at Clemson was tough too, but right, I looking at Florida at the end of the year, you can lose that game and still go to the national championship, but like to me, that's like sure Miami, whatever. Like Tyler Van Dyke, can upset you for sure, but for Florida State, you gotta be feeling pretty good. And Mike Norvell.
I agree.